You're listening to the 1.21 show. It's episode 50. I'm Steve French.
I'm Arthur Spine.
Carl Carmex.
I'm little Larry Tantrum.
And we're finally in 2014. We just had a new year. It's crazy.
I'm excited over the 4.
We got 1 year till the Back to the Future. No hoverboards, no flying cars.
And we just said the same thing last night, Matt and I. We're just, we're nowhere near floating. The only thing that came true is that we're older, and that's it.
We're closer to floating. We're closer to, because it's just really expensive and on a small scale.
Yeah, that is a select few that can float, and we're nowhere near that crowd.
I want boots that lace themselves. I want my jacket drying.
Drying mode on. Jacket drying. Your jacket is now dry.
Yeah. All their laces. I guess the only thing we can do is pull our pockets out.
Let's not forget Marty McFly and his double tie. I want the double tie.
Well, you can make that happen. You can pull your pockets out, wear a double tie and a fucking shiny tie-dye cap, and look like a retard. Because you're not going to... I mean, if you were floating around, then you'd be powerful. But if you're just not floating with a hat on and your pockets are hanging out, you're going to look like you just escaped.
I know they sell the hat, so...
They definitely saw the hat.
Yeah. And tell me, how many people do you see walking down the street sporting that as we get closer?
I've never seen one person wear that, not even for a costume.
Dude, someone... Seriously, like, go to the booby hatch. I'm sure they're all walking around with those shits. Straight jackets and pockets hanging out.
I definitely hope that wasn't the style. I remember thinking that as a kid and watching that movie, is that I don't want to dress like that when we get closer to that time.
Well, I'll say this.
We're out of that anyway, dude.
I'd rather see pockets hanging out than the other. It was like a few nights ago. I went to somewhere in public, we'll say. I don't want to give away my locations, but it was public. So we're out, and doing a little bit of whatever shopping, buying things you don't need after Christmas. And I look to the right, and lo and behold, do I see a black dude with his pants literally belted around his knees. Like, now, I know coming from like the late 90s, whatever the hell, that was kind of a style. Your pants were a little low. But, dude, your pants were off. Like, and the belt, you must have, like, drilled 17 different holes into that belt to get him as tight as you could get him. And it looked like I could have walked up to him and just pushed him, and he would have fell over and been like a turtle. He couldn't get up. Like, there's no getting up from that.
Now, I always wondered, when I was in high school, one of the big things was, like, the size of your T-shirt. And you could always make fun of somebody by walking up and tugging on their tee and going, look at this tiny tee or whatever. Is the pants, like, if you can get them, like, below the knees, like, is it the lowest you can get them? Is it, like, that's cooler? You know what I mean?
So it's cool to look like you're a living carnival mirror.
Well, look, I'm not one to judge on what's cool and what's not, because I don't think any of us were ever truly cool, according to the standard.
You bite your tongue.
I think they like to play limbo with each other with their pants. How low can they go?
I wore my pants, so I'm not cool.
But it's like, oh, look at Gus over there. Look how low his pants are. He's so cool.
Damn. So that's the meter. The lower you get, the cooler you are. So why don't you just not wear pants? Then you're fucking the king.
Well, here's the thing. Why don't they add the big tees to the low pants, and then it'll look normal.
But it looks like they're wearing
down.
Looks like they're wearing grandma's nightie. Like, you might as well have a sidekick next to you that carries your pants. Then you're fucking awesome.
I really did hate the long white T-shirts, though.
The Baltimore tee.
It looks like a ghost. You're like a human ghost walking around with pants on.
I did always love hearing everybody make fun of everybody else for the size of their tee, though. Because you'd go up to somebody who'd be wearing the fucking nightie, and you'd tug on that and be like, look how small his tee is. And it's like, that dude's T-shirt is not fucking small.
I don't know. Why don't we can all climb in there and be the judge.
Like, I'm impressed by both of your T-shirts. Like, let's not fight, guys.
Yeah, tell me the Giant store you went to buy that. Biff's extra large fucking tees. No pants allowed.
Ty Riggs. All right, so coming out of 2000 2013 going into 2014. The last two shows we had are review shows where we talked about everything that's happened, big headlines, also our picks for the best games and movies and TV shows. So this show going forward, we're going to make predictions for 2014. What do we expect to happen, or what do we think is going to happen?
I predict I'm about to eat a Butterfinger.
I feel that's going to come true.
That's coming true right now. I'm right. So far, so good.
It, and it's happening.
Well,
Regular Nostradamus.
it's awkward to talk about the future of the games and such because the two new consoles are so early still. It's the games that have come out haven't like blown me away or anything. So I think it's going to be like later in the year before we really get any kind of awesome looking games, like truly next gen games. Because a lot of the games now are going to be like ports and shit like that.
Well, do you expect them to drop maybe one big title that they've been working on and then sprinkle a bunch of like shitty Kinect games around it? Or are the floodgates going to open and we're just going to get games that we want?
Yeah, I hope the floodgates open because I love Dead Rising, but I need something new.
Well, Titanfall is like their big one, and that keeps getting pushed more and more. So I don't know whether that's to fix it up. Yeah, Watch Dogs is another big one. I know there's a zombie game coming out. First-person shooter. Dying Light. Dead to Light or something.
No, Dying Light. That is what it's called, right? Stats.
I'm pretty sure it's Dying Light.
Yeah. Same people that made Dead Island. So.
And it looks exactly like Dead Island, and it's Dead Island on steroids. And I'll tell you what, I'm coming off of Dead Island. I'm not sure I want that game.
Yep,
Now, a next-gen zombie title like Dead Island, I'll take it.
Nah, look. I watched that 10-minute video, and that sold me. Because it might look like Dead Island, but it also plays like Mirror's Edge. It's not some slow motion walking around just hacking up zombie shits. It looks like the game that Dead Island 1 should have been.
That one definitely was not.
Right, maybe it won't be a buggy mess because they've got more to work with now.
Yeah. Fuck that. And I like both Dead Islands. You can say like, well, it's the same game, but isn't every game the same game just about?
I'm not saying Dead Island wasn't a good game, but do you want another Dead Island?
Yeah, I'll take another Dead Island.
I enjoyed playing through Dead Island with you guys.
Yeah. I would love another Dead Island, and especially with the way this one's looking, I welcome it. All the new, like running up poles and jumping across rooftops and hiding during the night when they become more aggressive. That takes Dead Island. Just that little bit there makes it a sequel, not just some DLC bullshit. So we don't even know what else the game has in store. They've only released that one video for it. So I'm already sold on it.
I've bought worse.
Oh, definitely. I bought the Walking Dead Survival Instinct. So don't tell me don't buy Dying Light. You don't buy Walking Dead.
I was just going through the list of games that are to be announced for like 2015. One's called Whore of the Orient.
I like it.
Is it a Kinect game? Because that would be fun.
Hell yeah, take off the top.
Let's see here.
She's not listening to you. Make a slap motion.
So you're a businessman. It's a Kinect game, and you're a businessman. You have to go to the airport and buy one ticket, please.
Now, what if they made a game like that, though? Like, okay, you're a guy. You like to hit women and children and stuff, right? But you don't want to send them out into the world to hit children and wives and animals. So you could just put it on a game. Look, sit in the comfort of your own home and hit virtual people. You'll still get your fix and
through there.
Won't hurt anybody.
You push little kids out of the way.
I'll tell you what.
To your whorehouse.
You're onto something here if you think about that. The game is literally it's first person. You go out and you walk down the street and like you walk up to people and just punch them, hit them, kick them, do whatever. You could be nice, you could be mean.
It sounds like GTA lower scale, like more direct GTA, but with punches instead of rockets.
Well, yeah, I mean,
rockets or anything, just fists.
Yeah. And like, there's no mission. You just walk it. You can walk into the Giant, walk up to the woman behind the register, and just smack her in the face, and then walk out of Giant.
You're going to go to Giant in real life, and you're going to be like, I'd like to punch that woman, but I'm not going to go to jail for that. I could just go home and punch her virtually.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Giant's a
Maybe you
food
could even
store for our
upload your friends
Orient
and
listeners.
stuff. Just upload your friends because this is the next gen.
That's got to be multiplayer, so you and all your friends can just go around beating the shit out of people.
Well, no, that should be the case, because if I could put my face on my quarterback in Madden, I should definitely be able to put my friend's face in the woman I'm going to slap on.
Right, just take a picture of the giant chick,
Now-
put her into the game.
What if it was online and we were all able to go to Giant together and we would just start like a wrestling match in the cereal aisle or something? Hang out.
Well, not hang out, but I want to wrestle in Giant.
Yeah.
With my
Not wrestle.
friends
Or
online.
go to GameStop and say, hey, fuck you, and throw things, leave, go steal bananas from stores. Whatever. Whatever you feel like doing, you can do it.
Now, real quick, side note, I don't want to get too tracked here, but anyone who's listened to our show for a while has heard us talk about the guy at GameStop that got fired
Yeah, fucking idiot.
for being a fucking oof. Have any of you guys been up there recently?
Yeah, I have.
Have you
No.
seen the big guy? There's a big tall guy, long hair, beard.
Yeah, yeah.
He works the same way, but he talks about cool shit, so I don't mind it.
Yeah, they're all kind of cool up there. And the guy, I think that's the new manager, he looks a bit like a homunculus, I'll say. Look it up if you don't know what it is. But more of a mature person than the last guy. I think that only because of its beard. I don't know. He's got a beard, and the other guy didn't. But he talks about cool shit, too. And I think that's what you want when you go to GameStop.
Yeah.
You don't want to hear, like, well, if you press the X button, it'll bring up your menu. I'm like, hey, if you keep talking, you're going to bring up my middle finger, bitch. Like, I can't get out of your store.
Now, I was hoping, because when I went up there, I bought Madden, I want to say. And he came up and he was talking to me about the game, and he started getting into details and keep going on again. I'm like thinking it's another one of these fucking guys. And then he started talking about like zombies and corpses and swinging back and forth. You know, you got to knock stuff off shelves. I was like, that sounds pretty fucking cool, dude.
In Madden, was he confused?
No, it was a game he was talking about that was going to be coming out on Xbox One. I can't for the life of me remember what it was called though, but it sounded fucking cool. He said the guy that made that was the guy that made the Resident Evil games.
Oh, Tokyo Hamashi.
I mean, you could be right. So moving on, let's go to movies. We have a shit ton of superhero movies coming out this year.
Correct.
Guardians, X-Men,
Spider-Man.
down the line, Spider-Man. Well, actually, it's probably reversed that order. I wouldn't say down the line.
Yeah, I think Spider-Man.
first, right?
Spider-Man. What? I know Spider-Man's in April. I'm pretty sure. I think, or May, and X-Men is right around there too. And Guardians isn't until August.
Ugh.
But whatever, it still comes. But Guardians is the last movie until Avengers 3. So, in the next year and a
Avengers
half.
2?
Avengers 2. Yeah, sorry.
Okay, I was going to say, that's a long-ass fucking wait.
The new Amazing Spider-Man won't be out till May.
And that movie is looking jam-packed. Like, I don't want to say it like a fucking 80s commercial, but like every week they release something out. They've alluded to so many different characters in the Spider-Man universe that it's almost like Mortal Kombat 2, Street Fighter movie syndrome. Like way too many characters almost.
Let me ask you something. Do you think that possibly they're trying to throw everybody they can think of into it because they're scared that Marvel's going to eventually get it back?
I don't think so. I think they're just trying to do what Marvel's doing. Like they've already said they're going to start a Venom movie. They're going to do a Sinister Six movie. And there's still another Spider-Man movie that Andrew Garfield is signed to do. So it just seems like they're trying to pull all of the resources. Spider-Man's like a huge universe. You could have I don't know, fucking give me names from fucking Spider-Man. Kingpin could be in that bitch. Fuck it. Who was God, I can't remember her name. White chick that shoots across fucking rooftops and stuff.
I can't remember her name, but now I like the first Amazing Spider-Man. Like I like what they did with it.
Hopefully it's not one of those things where they just throw as many names in as they can, and it just because that could be good, but at the same time that could really fuck up the movie.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say this though, Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3 can go out the window. You can have those, but that last Amazing Spider-Man movie was all right. That wasn't a bad movie.
Yeah, it was good for like the beginning movie. You know, they did like the Batman Begins way, and they went like, you know, they didn't have like Dr. Octopus or, you know, someone huge. They just went with the Lizard just to get, you know, the characters rolling. And now you got this next one coming out that's fucking got Rhino, Electro, Green Goblin again. They've been talking about like the what's that group called? The Enforcers, I think it is. Eddie Brock has been mentioned. Shocker has been mentioned. God knows what else. So it just seems like this movie is going to be like kind of like a branching point, you know, for the series, and they're just going to start going crazy with different movies. Maximum Carnage is something I wouldn't mind seeing on the big screen.
That was an awesome SNES game.
Awesome comic book.
It's an awesome story arc that they definitely should tap on. I mean, I guess Venom would have to come first, you know. Arrest Eddie Brock.
Now let me ask you something. We might need stats for this, but how long did Marvel sell the rights to X-Men and Spider-Man like indefinitely, or does that contract last like 20 years or something?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's been going on 14 years since the first X-Men movie.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, is it just like, did they just sell them the rights indefinitely? Because
it's been a lot longer than that, because they were planning an X-Men movie when I was like in middle school, you know, so that was like early mid 90s. They were planning movies, and it didn't happen until 2000 or whatever. So it's been a long while. I'd like to know when the hell that contract. Plus, they made a shitty ass Fantastic Four movie a long time ago.
2 of them, yeah, they were both horrible.
No, not those. I'm talking way before those.
Oh.
Like I actually just watched both of those like recently, and they weren't as bad as I remember.
Here's a little quote with it. Disney will. This is the article I found. Like Disney wants the Marvel movie characters' rights back from Fox and Sony, and it says that they will never get them back. Not even 100 years. Fox owns the rights forever.
Well, if Fox,
that's heartbreaking.
It is.
You just crushed my life.
You can only hope that these two big ass companies realize that they're possibly sitting on a gold mine. You know, one has Avengers, the other has X-Men, and the two of them clashing would just be one of the biggest. It would be as big as the Secret Wars was back in the 80s. You know, because up until then, you didn't have like a big ass team up. You know, like that. All your heroes in one thing. So if they were to only make one movie at least, Avengers versus X-Men, that would be bigger than the Avengers was a couple years ago.
There's already a VX, so you have a storyline written already.
You got the material, and you got the backstory as far as movies. Like, you have all those characters established already. I mean, just think about the money that they would make. You know, if they both, you know, bought in, if they both, you know, produced it, they would split the cost or whatever the fuck. And
it's everything.
We would win ultimately because we finally get the movie we wanted. You know, but this is business, of course. You know, and just like if we're talking about future movies, you got this goddamn rumor that The Rock is going to be Green Lantern, which makes no sense at all to me. I just see it. I think, Matt, you said it. It's just the fucking old heads up in the office saying, "Oh, The Rock was the biggest grossing movie star. We should get him to play one of our characters. It doesn't matter who."
It is, like, you know what it reminds me of is that character from GTA 5. That old movie executive guy that you meet.
Oh, yeah, Michael. The guy Michael meets.
Yeah, like, that's exactly what I picture. Like, he's up there just like, well, so this Green Lantern we're going to do is black. Well, who's a black actor that makes a lot of money, you know?
The Rock.
Oh, The Rock makes a lot of money. Yeah, sign him on. Perfect.
That's ridiculous. So does, what's the guy that played, well, I guess he's already in Marvel. I was going to say the guy that was Heimdall in Thor, but he is Heimdall already. He could be Jon Stewart. He is Jon Stewart. Not Jon Stewart, the fucking Daily Show.
The other movie coming out is Guardians of the Galaxy, and before the show we were talking about this, and the idea of hopefully they don't fuck it up as far as making a cartoon as well. where they turn Rocket Raccoon into a kid's character.
I'm predicting it right now that he's going to be all over your son's lunch boxes and bed sheets and I don't know, toilet paper.
I mean, they said that he is the main focal point of the movie. Maybe not the story or whatever the hell, but he's not just another character in the movie. Like a lot of focus is going to be on him. And they got Bradley Cooper to do this voice, so that's obvious that they want him to be like a big selling point.
Yeah, well, he's I would say the majority's favorite.
Oh goddamn! Yeah, I mean when they announced the movie at Comic-Con, all they did was put up a picture of Rocket Raccoon to make the announcement. And that was it. That's all they needed, really.
Yeah.
So I don't know, the cartoon thing. It's just a rumor. They did appear on Ultimates. And I can't get into that damn shit. I've stopped watching the Avengers Assemble cartoon because it's so goddamn kiddie. I just can't take it. And Ultimate Spider-Man is even more so than that. So if you take Rocket Raccoon, who's supposed to be like, hey, get that, fuck you, like kicking guys' knees and biting them, and you make him into this little cartoon character that's just hey, you little butthead, come on now. Like Guardians should be rated R, but we know it's not going to be.
Yeah, there's no way they're making that an R-rated movie.
I mean, can we get a R-rated Wolverine for fuck's sake?
It's not going to happen.
No, I want to see him take some dude's head off with those blades.
They're not going to sacrifice the money that they would make by excluding 4 years worth of people.
No, they'll make the director's cut, which I watched, and I totally wasn't blown away by that Wolverine movie. I don't recall Silver Samurai being a giant robot with an old man inside of it.
That was a shitty part of the movie.
That was just as shitty as Mandarin in Iron Man 3.
Find that out.
But see, that goes back to Fox making those X-Men movies, dude.
They
just don't know what they're doing.
The best part of that Wolverine movie was cut when you got the brown and yellow suit. They didn't even put that in the director's cut. That was the best part of the movie.
Like, why would they not put that in the movie in the first place?
I know. It's a director. I mean, yeah, period. In the theater. Put it.
Yeah.
That would make me happy. Capitalize, period, exclamation point. And the second best part of that movie is, of course, the 2 minutes after the credits when you see Magneto and Professor X. That made the whole movie. I didn't give a shit about what the hell was her name, Viper. I'm like, what was her point in that movie? Like, what was she doing? Why was she doing what she was doing? Can you even tell me that? Oh, I'm here to do this. I don't even remember what she was doing. Fuck her.
She was working in the lab for the old man.
Yeah, but why?
They don't know why.
Oh, I'm a mutant. I can spit shit, and I'm pretty hot. But fuck it, I'll just be a scientist. Fake. So just get out of here with all that. That movie just didn't need to be made. You should have just saved Wolverine for the goddamn Days of Future shits. Because they also said that he's, if let's jump. We're gonna do Back to the Future. We're just gonna jump to 2016 when they do the Apocalypse movie. Dang. None of the X-Men, the older X-Men, are going to be in that movie. So there will be no Wolverine, Professor X, Magneto. Only the first class, if you will.
That's fine by me.
Where are they going to go with that? And Hugh Jackman said that he might, Days of Future Past might be his last Wolverine. Unless they come up with some super amazing story to bring him back. He's even said that he wanted to do an R-rated Wolverine movie. So, goddamn it, let him.
I don't know. I just can't see it. They're not going to... The big wigs, they want the money.
Just let kids go see R-rated movies. Who cares?
No, man. It never stopped me. It never stopped me.
It never stopped you from showing them to me, Clay.
I know. And what the hell ever. Now we know what good movies are. I mean,
I'm like 6 years old, and you're like, hey, you should watch this movie, Friday the 13th.
And now we love it. It just makes you into a better person. It just depends on...
ran from your house, though.
They're just afraid. I don't know. It's it's everything's so goddamn touchy today that
it comes down to money.
And you're gonna offend people, and then there's gonna be lawsuits. And my kid saw a knife on your movie. Now I'm suing you. So we have to have Wolverine prance around and do ballet and shit. You didn't curtsy, bub.
All right, so that all sounds shitty for 2014.
We'll see. Our hopes are shitty.
All right, let's get into headlines.
Honk.
All right, the headline I got has to do with the PlayStation 4. I don't know if anyone else has seen this. Oh, but what? I know. But a little, I guess, report's been done that Sugar DVD, which streams porn to the next-gen console, is saying that PS4 watchers or PS4 owners watch triple the amount of porn than Xbox One users.
Wow.
That's right, because they're all losers.
Can I throw something out there? I went to Walmart, unfortunately, yesterday for some personal needs. And I swung up to the electronics department. They probably had about 20 Xbox Ones and no PS4s.
I don't get why that is. I really don't.
Yeah. Like they at least 20. Even right now on Amazon, Xbox One's available, PS4 isn't.
Come out. Can I throw my 2 cents in real quick?
Yeah.
This is based off the people at my job.
So fact.
Me and the guy I work next to own Xboxes. Both of them. And the guys out in the shop, they're like the part-time gamers. You know, like they play and talk about the trendy shit. You know, the shit you'll hear everywhere. You know, oh yeah, did you get on? They all have PlayStations, right? So they're, you know, did you get on last night? Yeah, I hopped on and there was a death match and Call of Duty, and then we got on and we did, you know, races on race game number 2 that's out. You know, just all the typical shit that you hear about. But they all have PlayStations, and I say, why do you have PlayStations? They're like, oh, I don't know, I like the controller. Like, all right.
So they all ordered or all bought PlayStations just for a controller?
No, they still have PlayStation 3. And I was like, if you're going to get one, what are you going to get? I'm going to get a PlayStation. I'm like, why? They're like, oh, it's just better. Why? Please tell me why. You know, like, I know why I like my Xbox over the PlayStation. Can you tell me why you like your PlayStation over the Xbox? And they have no idea why. You know, they're just the trendy gamers. Like, more trendy gamers buy PlayStations, it seems. You know? And they talk about the same shit. You know, they talk about the Battlefield and Call of Duty and Forza, you know, and just the trendy games. Not saying they're bad games, but they are just the games that your average Joe gravitates to. So it's just word of mouth, you know what I'm saying? And I just feel that Xbox, you know, you might have your trendy Xbox players, but more actual gamers flock to the Xbox, whereas the trendy ones flock to the PlayStation. And there's
you know what?
There's going to be more trendy ones than there are actual gamers.
This all makes sense, too, with going back to Frank's headline, because I'm sure most of those guys in the shop are probably the guys that go home and watch porn on their PlayStations.
Turn on that Sugar DVD and just go at it.
Sugar DVD. Never heard that one.
Now maybe it's because with the Xbox One you can do everything, so your choices are all there. With PlayStation 4, like, that's, you know, you have to turn it on and switch to it, and there's not as much interactive shit, so maybe find some porn.
Hey, I mean, I'm just saying, like, if you go back and listen to our older shows, the conversations that we had when these next gens were still a ways out, all of us were saying, we don't even need these things, and if we do get them when they come out, we're just going to wait and we're going to see what they bring to the table. You know what I'm saying? And we did. We did exactly that, and we waited and we waited and we waited. You know, we weren't even sold on them when they were talking about no this, no that, you know, when the Xbox had their rules that they lifted finally. Yeah, it wasn't until after then we were like, oh, maybe. And then when we finally saw what, you know, both of them brought to the table, we made our decision. You know, and our decision was Xbox. Why? Because it's just better.
Yeah.
So
I'm not going to say I won't buy a PlayStation down the road, because I am a gamer and I do like playing exclusives for both. You know what I mean?
Right.
I like to have both to say, like, I can compare them because I own them. I know,
Yeah.
Clay, you didn't play your PS3 as much, but I did, you know?
No. The only reason I got it is because I wanted a Blu-ray player, and it was the cheapest one at the time. Plus, it was backwards compatible, so it was like a good buy. You know what I'm saying? But if like the PlayStation comes out with like an exclusive, you know, and it's George Romero's Thing of the Dead, then I'm getting it. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, Superboy Wrestling #2. Like another alternative wrestling title to the SmackDown series, which I've grown stale of. Like, it has to be something huge for me to get that PlayStation, because at this point, it doesn't offer me anything that the Xbox doesn't.
Yeah, no, definitely right now.
Does WWE have a lock on the wrestling game?
No, I mean...
Because there are no other good fucking wrestling games.
Dude, I don't understand. I was just talking about that. If I may bitch for a second. Like, this game, this newest game, 2K, like 2K took over the wrestling games. And I was like, all right, this first one might not be all that because it was like halfway through the development when you know, they switched from THQ. So this game was already in development. And it shows how much of a shitty company Yuke's is. Now, in this game, you have your universe mode where you can set up your calendar and you can, you know, create your titles, create all your shit. So I create shit. It's a known fact that we have an endless amount of characters. We've talked about the Hawk Wrestling Federation before. Like, we have endless guys. You have titles you can make, arenas you can make. I do all that. I put it into the calendar, and my game freezes every time I try to play a match. And I'm talking every fucking time. I go in to set up a rivalry, it freezes. I go in to set up a title shot, it freezes. You know, I look at it, it freezes. So I reset universe. I took everything created out, and now it works just fine. So they boast about these features. You can create this, create that, but you just can't use any of it. So looking into the future, I am praying that 2K realizes this and they hire someone else to do their games, or someone smartens up and realizes that there's a whole fucking market out there of wrestling fans that want a good wrestling game that doesn't glitch on you and you can do whatever you want. That's what I'm hoping for.
I totally agree.
Hey, I have it all mapped out too. So any wrestling company wants to steal my idea right now, do it, because I don't care. Like,
I just want that game.
Yeah. Okay, when they make these games, you know, so much of the resource goes into the graphics. You know, you have to have you know, Senta's mole on his face, you know, or whatever, or you have to have Triple H's third nipple. Like, if you don't have that rendered and fucking high def, this isn't a wrestling game, you know? It doesn't matter if you can or cannot use the created shit that you made. Triple H has to have that nipple. So don't create any wrestlers. You know, just give us nothing to work with. You know, give us all the tools that we need to make our own wrestling federation and go from there. So you don't have to make fucking 65 guys rendered and high def, you know, skin tone, flesh, all that. We create all the wrestlers. We create all the arenas, belts, calendars, fucking announcers, whatever the hell else. You know, just make it a complete build your own wrestling federation game, because I don't need Senta.
Look at it this way. The game started coming out, and they started putting the creative shit in there. And you had the creator wrestler, and people just said, they just started complaining, let us change the actual wrestlers. Let us change their stuff. And then they gave you that. But they gave you a ton of other bullshit features that it got added on. And then they played that game, and then the next game they said, well, give us the ability to make a move. We want to create a finisher. And they just bitched for that and bitched for that. So then they got it in the next game, and a ton of other shit that didn't fucking matter. And then it kept going on until you got to the arena and all that kind of creative shit. You make your ring aprons and all that crap. Where they're slowly throwing at the people what they want, and it's obviously all create stuff. It's all creation. And they'll get one piece at a time and a bunch of other crap to go on top of it.
Yeah.
So maybe if you bitch to them enough to create a good game, maybe they'll make one.
Dude, I don't think there's enough
That's
bitching.
been done.
Yeah, dude. Like, aside from standing outside of their offices with pitchforks, like, I don't know what else people can do.
Yeah.
Because it's obvious. They have to know. I want to know who plays these games. You wouldn't want me as a tester. I'm just saying that. Because the game would never come out. You know,
They let,
I play the game the way it's supposed to be played. You know, I take all their shit out. You know, and I put all my shit in, and it doesn't work. So, I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to go back to the drawing board there, Sonny Jim.
They just let PS4 owners play it.
This works. All they do is they put Cena in a match, they put him in a match with Orton, and it works. Orton wins, so they think it's glitched, and they fix that so where Senta wins, and now you got a good game.
And you can't beat The Undertaker.
Dude, don't even get me started on that, because I still have...
Can I get you started on something good that I just realized?
Yeah.
This Wednesday, January 8th, Empire of the Dead will be at a local comic store near you. And I'm excited beyond everything.
I'm 100% ready for that. I will be in line. I'm going there early on Wednesday to get everything variant, and I might even just buy them all.
I think I'm going to email Rusty and tell him now to have everything ready for me, because I want them.
Dude, that's going to be big. George Romero, I love you. Marvel, you're all right.
And think about this. I mean, he's done them both before. This is zombies and vampires. And the humans are kind of caught in the middle. Almost. You know?
Well, it's going to be big, and I hope
they're making
good.
it seem like the zombies and the vampires don't like each other, and the humans are kind of just like,
Well, would zombies... I don't know. Vampires are dead, so why would zombies not like them? Well, I guess they wouldn't want to eat them, but it's like, I doubt the zombie would be like, get out
I don't know.
here.
They said that it's George Romero all over, though. Like, using that to, you know, peel back the skin of, like, society.
Is it
like how
about,
we are.
maybe it's about racism, because then I'm fucking going to be happy.
Oh, dude, I just can't wait. I just realized that, though. I'm like, wait a minute. That's got to come out soon. I know it's January.
Yeah, I thought it was in February. I don't know, whatever. It could come out right now and I'd be happy, but I'm not, whatever.
So let's do the last thing. TV, obviously, The Walking Dead. It comes back in February. Where do you think it's going?
Did you see the promo art shit that they put up? It has it says "Don't look back." Obviously, 3 words. We all love them.
Rick and Carl running along the train tracks, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Tracks, woods, a
I
path.
call them
The
trash.
thing that I thought was funny is they're both looking back. It says don't don't do what you're doing.
Maybe someone's yelling at them. Like, don't
look
do
back.
that.
What?
Yeah.
You did it.
What did I just say?
So I don't know the way the comic book, goes from here, but do you guys predict that it's going to take right down the same path as the comic book from here?
Well, I think it's going to be just like the show. I think it's going to follow the main course of the comic, but there'll be differences everywhere. I mean, we already know they left the prison. We know they're going to run into Eugene, Abraham, and Rosita. And I mean, aside from that, I have no idea because they're all split.
I will say everything. Hold on, everything that we've seen in the trailers, to me, is all things I remember from the comic book, where you have, or even how the show ended on the mid-season finale with Carl and Rick walking away, hunched away or going away from the prison, straight out of the comic book.
Right.
Rick looking in the mirror. His face all fucked up, straight from the comic. Carl trying to wake Rick up.
Yeah.
Like everything straight from the comic. So for me, that's the most straightforward I think the show's been as far as directly showing shots from, like, those are direct panels from the comic book.
Yeah, I think they do that. They'll show you, what, because if people that read it, it's cool. It's like, oh, yep, that's where it's going, because we know that's where it's going. But then the people that don't read the comic, they're like, oh, that's where it's going, and they have no idea. But the good part about this show is they might show us, where it's headed, but it's the things that happen along with that we might recognize, we might not, because they change it up. So that's the beauty part about watching the show and reading the comic. That you have some idea, but you're almost more surprised when they change something up than someone that doesn't read the comic. You know what I'm saying? Because you're like, oh shit, twist. Whereas someone that doesn't read the comic, it's just like, oh, okay, that just happened. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. Like that's crazy. But yeah, we're just flipping out about it.
You know, putting Herschel in Tyrese's spot, you know, when he got his head cut off. You know, just little shit like that, you know? I mean, that was
that's something that a non-comic reader would have no idea of watching that.
They would say, oh, why Tyrese? He just showed up on the show. It's like, fuck you. He's been... Fucking Tyrese is one of the first characters on the damn shit, you know? Comic, I mean, fuck. I'd just say damn shit instead of comic. So, yeah.
So who's the next villain that they're going to bring into?
I don't, you know, I mean, Negan...
I don't want it to be Negan. Negan needs to be down the line.
Later, yeah, you know, like you still got this half a season. I would even say maybe the second half of season 5 or something like that. You know, he doesn't have to show up right away. Like there's a long gap in between there, you know, where they just pretty much had to fight for their lives before they ran into Negan.
Hey, here's my thing. Like, what if the show made their own villain, right? Before Negan, and literally the comic could then even take that guy and put them into the comic later.
Oh, dude.
You know?
I mean,
that's a crossover from the TV show into the comic instead of vice versa.
I don't know why Daryl hasn't shown up in the comic yet. You know, like he's lobbied for that. They in the first few shows of Talking Dead, you know, they didn't start Talking Dead until I don't know if it was season 2 or if it was like halfway through season 2 when they started Talking Dead. But Daryl or Norman Reedus was on there with Robert Kirkman. He was like, "Put me on the show or put me in the comic," you know. So I don't know if he doesn't put Daryl in there, it would almost be be awkward if he puts just anyone else in there from the show. Plus, if the fucking villain from the show shows up in the comic, that would fucking be weird for like timeline and shit, you know?
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe they could do that, tie it all. You know, the comic and the show happens like hand in hand. You know, like around the time the show is on, the comic could also be in the same kind of setting. You know, showing other shit that's happening. You know, that'd be kind of cool.
I mean, there's plenty of ways that could go. I mean, seeing a tie off with the comic, like you said, it's going to mess up the timeline, but you know,
it could work.
I don't care. I want to see it.
Yeah, just more Walking Dead.
Yeah, and I think that's as far as Matt's saying to make their own villain. Like I don't even care if the rest of this season, this other half, just have them surviving. Go back to fighting zombies. You don't even need to set up anybody till season 4, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, like
you have my attention right now.
Build the characters, go from there, and you also got that spin-off series coming too.
We're running out of time here. I'm gonna shoot to what we're gonna be doing next week.
Ooh, the hot trailer.
Hot trailer for. We're all big fans of Rick Moranis.
True.
And all of his work that hasn't been out recently. We want and need Rick Moranis in a movie. So our movie is us writing a movie for Rick Moranis, and we have to go convince him to star in it.
Yeah, I have to imagine he's a little standoffish because if you listen to our show, you can imagine what our movie's about.
Yeah, hilarity is going to ensue,
and racism.
I'm sure.
Just how if you pissed Rick Moranis off, what would he do?
That's tough. I don't know.
He's a wild card, so who knows?
We'll see. That's all going to be next week. That's episode 51. After that, 52.
The not new 52. The same old 52.
2 weeks from now.
We're not going to reboot.
2 weeks from now, we've been doing this for a year. And it's going to be a show to end the show. Not end the show, but the show of shows.
We'll try to do a good one.
We'll think about it. Thanks for joining us for another episode of the 1.21 Show. You can follow us on Twitter at 1.21 Show. You can like us on Facebook. You can go to our webpage at 1.21show.com. Those are our predictions. Tune in next week for the Rick Moranis tale.
I predict that you're going to suck it in 2014.
I'm predicting it now that he will be all over your son and or daughter. No, cut that. I'm